Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in every life when one must decide, truly decide, to rise above mediocrity and embrace the discipline that forges greatness. Many believe destiny is written in the stars, but I tell you today, destiny is written in the early hours of the morning, in the habits you practice before the world awakens. If you desire a life of extraordinary success, you must first seize control of your mornings. The morning is the mind's workshop. It is the sacred hour when thoughts are clearest, willpower is at its strongest, and opportunity stands waiting to be commanded. Allow me to share 7 morning habits that, if practiced with sincerity and persistence, have the power to completely transform your life forever. My friends, do not underestimate the power of these simple habits. Great lives are built not in sudden bursts of effort, but in the quiet consistency of daily practice. If you choose to take command of your mornings, you will take command of your future. Adopt these 7 habits with steadfast determination, and you will awaken within yourself a force capable of lifting you to heights you once believed unreachable. Your habits shape your destiny, and your destiny begins every morning. Definiteness of purpose is the starting point of all personal achievement, the foundation upon which every great success story is built. It is the quiet but powerful declaration that you have chosen a direction for your life, that you have decided what you want, and that you are willing to commit your mind, your energy, and your actions to bringing that desire into reality. When a person establishes definiteness of purpose, they ignite a force within themselves that is far stronger than talent, luck, or circumstance. They awaken a burning desire that transforms ordinary days into meaningful progress and transforms uncertainty into unstoppable determination. To live without a definite purpose is to drift like a ship without a compass. You move, but you do not advance. You work, but you do not create. Your days pass, but they do not build anything lasting. Most people spend their lives reacting to circumstances instead of shaping them. They wake up each morning without a clear aim, without personal mission guiding their decisions. As a result, they surrender their power to distractions, habits, fears, and the demands of others. But the moment you define a purpose, the moment you say, "This is what I will achieve, this is the life I will build," you reclaim authority over your future. Definiteness of purpose does more than give direction. It transforms your thinking. It sharpens your perception, so that opportunities become visible where previously only obstacles existed. With a clear objective, the mind begins to filter out the unnecessary and focus on the essential. You become more selective about how you spend your time, who you surround yourself with, and what you allow to influence your thoughts. You develop a sense of urgency, a recognition that your time on earth is finite and valuable. Clarity creates power, and power creates momentum. A definite purpose must also be accompanied by a burning desire. It is not enough to quietly wish for something. You must want it with an intensity that pushes you through fatigue, fear, and failure. Desire fuels persistence, and persistence is the difference between those who dream and those who achieve. When your purpose becomes a deep emotional commitment rather than a casual preference, it becomes a magnet that pulls you toward your goals. You think about it while you work, while you rest, and while you plan. You begin to see each challenge not as a barrier, but as a natural part of your journey toward fulfillment. Definiteness of purpose also requires a plan, even an imperfect one. Many people hesitate to begin because they fear making mistakes, but the greatest mistake is failing to start at all. A plan gives structure to your actions and transforms your purpose from a thought into a living pursuit. Plans can and will change, but purpose must remain steady. The person who acts, even with a simple plan, will always surpass the person who waits endlessly for perfect conditions. Progress is born from action, not hesitation. Another extraordinary effect of definiteness of purpose is the way it unifies your personality. Instead of being pulled in a dozen directions by conflicting desires, you align your thoughts, emotions, and habits toward one dominant goal. This unity is a source of incredible strength. It gives you resilience when you encounter setbacks, calmness when you face uncertainty, and confidence when you make decisions. People without purpose often doubt themselves because they have nothing solid to measure their choices against. But with a definite aim, decisions become clearer, priorities become obvious, and distractions lose their power. Your purpose also has a profound influence on the people around you. Individuals with clarity naturally inspire trust, respect, and cooperation. Others sense your direction and confidence. They recognize that you are someone who knows where you are going. Such individuals often attract support, resources, and relationships that accelerate their progress. A definite purpose radiates an energy that draws aligned opportunities into your path. Life seems to open up for the person who knows what they want. Yet definiteness of purpose is not a one-time declaration. It is a daily choice. Each morning you must recommit to your aim. Each day you must take at least one action, however small, that brings you closer to its fulfillment. Purpose is strengthened through repetition and weakened through neglect. The more you feed it with attention, emotion, and effort, the more powerful it becomes. Ultimately, definiteness of purpose is an act of self-faith. It is a statement that you believe your life has meaning and that you are capable of shaping your destiny. It is the recognition that success is not reserved for the fortunate few, but for the committed, the disciplined, and the purposeful. When you decide what you want, when you pursue it with burning desire, and when you take consistent action toward it, you set in motion a force that transforms your life from the inside out. Mastery of the mind is the greatest victory any individual can achieve, for the mind is the origin of every success and every failure. It is the silent architect of destiny, shaping your beliefs, your habits, your actions, and ultimately the quality of your life. While most people spend their time trying to control circumstances, the truly powerful understand that all transformation begins with the mastery of their own thoughts. The mind is both a servant and a master, capable of creating miracles or magnifying limitations. When you learn to direct it with intention, discipline, and clarity, you awaken a force within yourself that can overcome any obstacle and turn the faintest desire into reality. Thoughts are not fleeting whispers. They are the commands that shape your character. Every belief you accept, every idea you dwell upon, and every image you hold in your imagination participates in building your future. The person who allows their mind to run wild, influenced by fear, doubt, negativity, and the opinions of others, becomes enslaved to forces they neither understand nor control. But the individual who takes charge of their mental world stands at the threshold of unlimited possibility. Mastery of the mind is the difference between living reactively and living creatively. It is the difference between drifting through life and directing life with intention and purpose. Your mind is constantly communicating with you, sending thoughts, images, and impulses that can either elevate you or sabotage you. To master it, you must become aware of this inner dialogue. You must observe your thoughts without blindly accepting them. A negative thought is not a command, it is simply a visitor. You possess the power to reject it, replace it, or reshape it. Mastery begins with awareness, with understanding that you are not your thoughts. You are the one who chooses which thoughts to empower. When you learn to separate yourself from the noise of the mind, you gain the ability to guide your thinking instead of being guided by it. One of the most powerful principles of mental mastery is the discipline of focusing on what you want rather than what you fear. The mind amplifies whatever it concentrates on, and your dominant thoughts attract matching results. Those who constantly think of failure, rejection, and misfortune unknowingly prepare their path toward those very experiences. But those who devote their mental energy to success, growth, faith, and opportunity create a magnet within themselves that draws progress and prosperity. You cannot expect abundance while rehearsing thoughts of lack. You cannot expect confidence while feeding thoughts of inadequacy. The mind obeys the thoughts you feed it, just as the soil produces whatever seed you plant. Choose your thoughts with intention. Mastery of the mind also requires discipline. The undisciplined mind drifts toward comfort, distraction, anxiety, and emotional impulse. It seeks the easiest path, even when that path leads to weakness and regret. But a disciplined mind is trained like a muscle. It can endure discomfort, resist temptation, and remain focused when challenges arise. Discipline gives you the ability to override fear with courage, procrastination with perseverance, and doubt with determination. It is the internal power that keeps you steady when circumstances try to shake you. Without discipline, the mind becomes a battlefield of conflicting desires. With discipline, it becomes a weapon of unimaginable strength. The practice of directing your imagination is another crucial part of mental mastery. The imagination is more than a playground for fantasy. It is a powerful tool for creation. Every achievement begins as a picture in the mind before it becomes a reality in the world. When you imagine your goals clearly, vividly, and repeatedly, you condition your subconscious to work toward those outcomes. You gather courage, clarity, and confidence from the images you plant in your mental world. Imagination shapes belief, and belief shapes behavior. The mind must see it before the body can achieve it. Emotion, too, plays a powerful role in mastery. Your emotions fuel your thoughts, and your thoughts fuel your emotions. Together they create the state that determines your actions. Learning to regulate your emotional responses, especially in moments of stress, gives you control over your behavior. Instead of reacting impulsively, you respond intentionally. You learn to stay calm under pressure, confident under uncertainty, and resilient in the face of setbacks. The stable mind is the strong mind. When your emotions obey your intention rather than controlling it, you rise above chaos and gain the clarity necessary for sound judgment and bold action. Mastery of the mind also requires the courage to guard your mental environment. You cannot allow just anyone or anything to plant seeds in your mind. Negative people, toxic influences, discouraging voices, and environments filled with small thinking can slowly erode your self-belief and drain your motivation. Protecting your mind is not selfish, it is essential. You must choose whose opinions you allow to shape you, what information you consume, and what influences you permit into your mental space. The mind thrives when surrounded by positivity, ambition, wisdom, and encouragement. Self-discipline is the invisible force that separates those who merely dream from those who achieve remarkable success. It is the quiet strength that allows you to act when you would rather rest, to persist when you feel discouraged, and to choose what is right over what is easy. While talent, intelligence, and opportunity play their part in success, none of them can develop fully without the foundation of disciplined action. Self-discipline is the bridge between intention and accomplishment, the inner authority that commands your behavior and keeps you aligned with your goals even when motivation fades. It is the skill of mastering yourself, your impulses, your emotions, your habits, so that every choice you make reflects the future you wish to build. At its core, self-discipline begins with understanding that your feelings are not your master. Many people live as prisoners of their moods, acting only when they feel inspired or comfortable. But those who develop discipline understand that progress is not dependent on emotion. They take action regardless of whether they feel ready, energized, or enthusiastic. They honor their commitments, even when their enthusiasm has faded. They recognize that small, consistent actions performed daily create greater results than short bursts of excitement that quickly dissolve. Discipline is not about denying joy. It is about directing your life with clarity rather than letting temporary emotions lead you astray. One of the greatest truths about discipline is that it is built, not born. No one arrives in this world with perfect self-control. It is developed through repetition, by choosing the harder right instead of the easier wrong, by training yourself to delay gratification instead of seeking instant comfort. Each time you resist a distraction, each time you follow through on a task, you strengthen the mental muscles that govern your behavior. Just as a person builds physical strength by lifting weights, you build mental strength by practicing discipline. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Discipline also requires having a clear vision of what you want. When your purpose is strong and your desire is persistent, discipline becomes less of a burden and more of a commitment. Without vision, discipline feels like punishment. With vision, it feels like progress. The person who knows exactly what they are striving for carries a fire within them that makes sacrifice acceptable, even meaningful. They understand that every disciplined choice is a step toward a higher version of themselves. Clarity of purpose fuels discipline. The stronger your why, the stronger your self-control. One of the greatest challenges to discipline is the constant lure of distraction. We live in a world designed to pull our attention in 1,000 directions: social media, entertainment, noise, temptation, and instant gratification. These distractions weaken the mind, scatter focus, and destroy momentum. A disciplined person learns to guard their attention as if it were treasure. They create boundaries for themselves, limiting time spent on unproductive activities, eliminating environments that encourage laziness, and replacing temptations with habits that support growth. Discipline is not only about saying yes to your goals, it is also about saying no to anything that steals time, energy, and clarity from them. Another essential aspect of discipline is the power of routine. Successful individuals understand that habits create stability, and stability creates consistency. They build routines that automate important behaviors: waking early, planning their day, exercising, studying, working with intention. These routines reduce the need for constant decision-making and prevent the mind from wandering. When a positive habit becomes automatic, discipline becomes easier because the mind no longer debates the action. It simply performs it. Routines are the scaffolding on which disciplined lives are built. Discipline is also deeply connected to personal accountability. It requires you to take full responsibility for your actions, your decisions, and your progress. Excuses weaken discipline. Responsibility strengthens it. When you blame circumstances, people, or luck for your failures, you give away your power. When you accept responsibility, even for setbacks outside your control, you reclaim authority over your life. Accountability sharpens your focus and fuels your determination, reminding you that your destiny is shaped by your choices, not by external forces. Emotion plays a powerful role in discipline as well. Many people crumble under pressure or lose control when triggered by fear, frustration, or desire. But discipline teaches emotional resilience. It gives you the ability to pause before reacting, to think before speaking, and to continue moving forward even when fear whispers reasons to stop. Emotional discipline is the mastery of remaining calm under stress, confident under uncertainty, and committed when results are slow. It is the recognition that temporary emotions cannot be allowed to sabotage long-term progress. Self-discipline does not mean living without rest or joy. It means choosing balance rather than indulgence, progress rather than procrastination, purpose rather than comfort. It allows you to enjoy life fully because you have earned your achievements, controlled your impulses, and created order in your world. The disciplined person experiences a deep sense of satisfaction that cannot be found in laziness or ease. Faith in action is the living force that transforms belief into reality. It is not enough to simply hope, wish, or dream. True faith demands movement. It requires you to step forward even when the path is uncertain, to act with confidence even before the evidence appears, and to trust that your consistent efforts will eventually manifest the results you seek. Many people claim to have faith, but their actions betray hesitation and doubt. Real faith is demonstrated not in words or intentions, but in the courage to act boldly in pursuit of your purpose. It is a partnership between your belief and your behavior, between your vision and your willingness to pursue it relentlessly. Faith in action begins with an inner conviction, a deep, unwavering belief that your goals are achievable and that you possess the ability to accomplish them. This conviction becomes a guiding light, illuminating your decisions and strengthening you against fear. Without conviction, action becomes half-hearted. Without action, conviction has no expression. The two must work together. When you hold a powerful belief and support it with disciplined effort, you unleash a creative force within yourself that aligns your thoughts, emotions, and actions toward the fulfillment of your desires. Acting in faith means moving forward even when your current circumstances do not reflect your future vision. Many individuals limit themselves because they wait for conditions to be perfect before they begin. But perfection never arrives. Doors open only for those who knock, opportunities appear only for those who seek, and progress unfolds only for those who dare to step forward. Faith in action requires you to trust the process, to understand that every meaningful achievement begins in the unseen, long before it becomes visible. When you act with faith, you are planting seeds that will bloom in due season, even if the soil of your current reality appears barren. One of the most powerful aspects of faith in action is the ability to persist in the face of adversity. Anyone can act when circumstances are favorable, but it takes true belief to press forward when the path becomes difficult. Challenges are inevitable, setbacks are unavoidable, and moments of doubt will arise. Yet those with faith refuse to retreat. They recognize that adversity is not a sign of failure, but a test of conviction. Faith gives you the strength to push through when others quit, to keep going when progress is slow, and to remain focused on the goal even when results seem distant. Every trial becomes a stepping stone, every obstacle becomes a lesson, and every setback becomes an opportunity to grow stronger. Faith in action also demands that you take responsibility for your progress. You cannot passively wait for success to come to you. You must pursue it with energy, intention, and discipline. It means recognizing that your efforts matter, that every step you take brings you closer to the life you envision. When you combine belief with personal responsibility, you gain control over your destiny. Instead of being a victim of circumstance, you become the creator of your future. Your faith becomes the engine that drives you, but your actions become the wheels that move you forward. Another essential element of faith in action is the willingness to take risks. Growth never occurs in the comfort zone. Faith asks you to leap before you see the ground, to trust that your wings will unfold as you fall. This does not mean acting recklessly, it means acting courageously. Every breakthrough in life requires stepping into uncertainty, challenging the boundaries of what you know, and embracing the discomfort of expansion. Those who fear risk remain trapped in small lives, but those who act in faith discover opportunities, abilities, and strengths they never knew they possessed. Faith in action also involves consistency. It is not the occasional burst of effort that creates change, but the daily commitment to your vision. Small steps taken repeatedly build tremendous momentum over time. When you act in faith each day, no matter how modest the action, you reinforce your belief and strengthen your resolve. Consistency transforms faith from an idea into a habit. It ingrains confidence into your character and shapes your identity into that of someone who follows through, someone who persists, someone who achieves. Moreover, faith in action is deeply connected to gratitude. When you act with gratitude, you operate from a mindset of abundance rather than scarcity. You recognize the progress you have made, the opportunities that surround you, and the potential within you. Gratitude amplifies your faith, making you more aware of the resources, people, and possibilities that support your journey. It keeps your heart open, your mind focused, and your spirit resilient. Ultimately, faith in action is a declaration that you trust in the power within you. It is the recognition that you are not limited by your past, your fears, or your current circumstances. It is the belief that your efforts have meaning, that your dreams are valid, and that your destiny is shaped not by chance, but by choice. When you combine unwavering belief with decisive action, you become a force capable of transforming your life in extraordinary ways. Daily growth is the quiet, consistent force that transforms an ordinary life into an extraordinary one. It is not a dramatic leap or a single moment of brilliance, but a steady commitment to becoming just a little better than you were yesterday. Growth is the essence of progress, the foundation of confidence, and the fuel of achievement. Those who dedicate themselves to daily improvement develop a mindset that refuses stagnation, embraces curiosity, and welcomes challenge. They understand that greatness is not achieved in a day. It is built through the disciplined accumulation of small victories. Every day becomes a chance to expand the mind, strengthen the character, deepen the understanding, and elevate the potential within. Daily growth begins with awareness. You must be able to observe yourself honestly, your strengths, your weaknesses, your habits, and your patterns. This self-awareness is not about judgment, but understanding. It gives you the ability to see where improvement is needed and where effort can create the most meaningful change. Many people drift through life unaware of their own potential, distracted by routine and numbed by comfort. But growth requires awakening. It requires the ability to look at your life and ask, how can I become better today? This question alone opens the mind to possibility and invites progress into your daily experience. One of the most powerful pathways to daily growth is conscious learning. Knowledge expands your perspective, strengthens your decision-making, and enriches your life. Whether you read, listen, study, or observe, every new insight adds value to your mind. The person who learns every day becomes a person of wisdom, and wisdom attracts opportunities. When you make learning a habit, you begin to understand the world, others, and yourself on a deeper level. You become more adaptable, more confident, and more capable. Each piece of knowledge becomes a tool you can use to shape your future. Daily growth also comes from challenge. Growth cannot occur in the comfort zone. It requires you to stretch beyond what is familiar and safe. Every challenge you face teaches you something valuable: resilience, patience, strategy, humility, or strength. Challenges force you to sharpen your thinking, strengthen your will, and refine your skills. Instead of avoiding difficulties, those committed to daily growth embrace them as opportunities to evolve. They understand that every obstacle carries a lesson and every setback contains a seed of improvement. Through challenge, you become stronger than your circumstances and wiser than your fears. Another essential ingredient in daily growth is reflection. Without reflection, experience becomes scattered and loses its power to teach. Reflection allows you to review your day, understand your actions, and learn from your mistakes and successes. It helps you recognize patterns, understand your emotional responses, and refine your approach. Reflection deepens your self-awareness and helps you adjust your course with precision. A day lived without reflection is a day lived without direction, but a day reflected upon becomes a stepping stone toward greater wisdom and purpose. Daily growth requires discipline. Improvement does not happen by accident. It is the result of deliberate action. Discipline keeps you consistent when motivation is low and reminds you of your purpose when distractions tempt you. Through discipline, small habits become powerful routines. Reading a few pages each day, practicing a skill regularly, exercising consistently, setting goals, journaling, or reviewing your progress. These actions may seem insignificant in the moment, but over time they compound into remarkable transformation. The disciplined person understands that growth is a long-term investment, and that consistency is the key to unlocking its full rewards. Surrounding yourself with an environment that supports growth is equally important. The people you interact with, the information you consume, and the spaces you inhabit influence your mindset and your potential. Positive influences inspire you, challenge you, and push you toward your best self. Negative influences drain your energy and cloud your vision. To grow daily, you must be selective about what you allow into your inner world. Choose relationships that elevate you, conversations that stimulate you, and environments that motivate you. Your surroundings either nurture your growth or hinder it. Daily growth also requires humility, the willingness to admit you don't know everything, and the openness to learn from anyone, anywhere, at any time. Humility allows you to stay teachable, curious, and receptive to new ideas. When you believe you already know enough, growth stops. But when you approach life as a student, every situation becomes a chance to gain insight. Humility opens the door to wisdom, and wisdom opens the door to success. Perhaps the most profound aspect of daily growth is the effect it has on your identity. As you learn, challenge yourself, reflect, and improve, you begin to see yourself differently. You develop confidence not from praise or achievement, but from the inner knowing that you are constantly evolving. You become someone who expects progress, someone who trusts their ability to adapt and overcome. This shift in identity creates momentum, and momentum makes growth easier, more natural, and more fulfilling.